Can you hear now? Yeah. Well, if you take a look at what's happening now, take a look at this morning's newspaper, the Washington Post, the main newspaper that deals with Washington affairs. There's a report of the U.S. Secretary of Defense, Chuck Hagel, who finally concedes that Putin is withdrawing forces from the border of Ukraine. But he says, and Washington backed him up, that this is not enough. They have to withdraw all the forces, and we cannot overlook the fact that they already placed forces there. That's permanent. Notice that the issue is not whether Putin is withdrawing forces from Mexico and Canada. I mean, if Russian forces were in Mexico, Canada, we wouldn't be here to talk about it. There'd be a nuclear war tomorrow, if not yesterday. But he's withdrawing forces from within Russia, from the borders of Ukraine, which the U.S. and the West have been trying hard to assimilate into the Western economic and military system on the borders of Russia. And that's considered perfectly legitimate. It's Putin's fault, not ours. But what's happening is that this is driving the Russians consciously towards a closer alliance with China. How can they possibly react? And there are natural relations between China and Russia. Russia, Siberia, eastern Russia has huge resources. China needs them. There's all sorts of historical antagonisms. They've been practically at war for many years. But yeah, it's driving them towards a closer alliance. And it's tending to reshape world affairs in that manner. Actually, this is happening on China's eastern border, maritime border as well. China is being pretty much barred from the waters off China's shore. China wants to exert influence over them. And there's a conflict about that. Notice the conflict is not about the waters off California or the Caribbean. That's not an issue. The U.S. controls everything. The question is the waters off the coast of China. And because of recognizing those difficulties, China is moving towards Central Asia. It's establishing close relations with many of the Central Asian states. Interesting relations. By now, you can actually take a high-speed train from China to Kazakhstan. You can't take one from Boston to New York. But it's true that these pressures are driving China towards Central Asia, are driving Russia towards China. China has established some years ago the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, which includes China, India, Pakistan, Kazakhstan, other Central Asian countries. The U.S. requested permission to be an observer. That was refused. Iran requested and is accepted. It is an observer. And this system is gradually developing and will become a significant system in world affairs. But we're quite consciously pressing them in that direction. It comes from a premise. The premise is we own the world. And if anybody else is doing anything, it's there's something wrong with them.